Blog Talk Radio.
Welcome to the EME Food Testing Show. Today's topic is food safety precautions in transportation. Our guest is Joe Stevens, the Director of National Sales of England Logistics, where he is responsible for national sales, corporate marketing, and the Agent Sales Development Department. Joe began his career in transportation in 1989, the over-the-road driver for Redline Transportation. Prior to joining EL, Joe was the Director, Business Development for FreightQuote.com, a $750 million non-asset-based 3PL, where he led a team that moved more than 15,000 shipments per week. Prior to joining FreightQuote.com, Joe was president of JMS3 Enterprises, a non-asset-based 3PL, providing transportation, logistics, and material handling solutions within the cardboard, paper, and construction industries. Additionally, Joe has held positions as Senior Vice President at RPL Logistics and Senior Director, Corporate Logistics at FreightPro.com. He's a graduate of the University of Kansas with a degree in Business Administration. Joe, welcome to the program.
Thank you so much.
Would you like to add anything to that outstanding introduction?
No, I think that covers it all.
Well, today's topic, Joe, is food safety precautions in transportation. As we look at transportation as being a critical component of the fork to the plate, let's take that farm to the fork transportation links, we can think about what is the role that food safety precautions play in transportation. Would you like to address that issue?
I certainly would, and we as an organization look at those precautions, obviously one that are very dramatic and have high visibility both with England Logistics and our parent company, CR England. And our precautions go way, way, way beyond before product hits truck. We as an organization, when identifying current customers as well as future customers, isolate and identify certain areas of product through inquisitive analysis, understanding the business that we are currently doing or have the possibility to be afforded to do through a detailed analysis of what their lane assignments are, what their product is, how the product is made, how the product is delivered, how the product is going to be transported, both from inception at origin to truck to deception at destination. So we feel that we have a well-rounded view and a good handle on product before it ever hits our truck. Now, beyond that, once product does hit our truck, we take precautions such as not commingling certain product environments that could compare and contrast against food safety, i.e. Transporting glass or glass particles, and then the next shipment being possible food grade commodities. We take a very diligent approach in making sure that the transport of the product, not only the product of food, but the prior product that is delivered and the product after the food commodity is delivered, we take special attention to make sure there's no commingling or cross-pollination of different products that may cause food safety hazards.
Very good. That's an excellent summary of your company. And as if anyone has ever driven on a freeway or interstate and seen your vehicles, they're shining examples of well-kept vehicles, very newer models, and it can be seen as a very high standard in the industry. Can you talk about specific industry standards that assure food safety in general?
Well, and to that point, a lot that I was outlining there, yes, are our own internal key performance indicators that we like to adhere to, but a lot of those are a direct derivative from industry standards. We as an organization, being on the asset side of the business, the largest refrigerated carrier in the country, and additionally the 10th largest third-party logistics company, we are only as good as the trucks that we transport, both on the asset side and on the logistics side. Moreover, we have to ensure that not only the standards that externally are created, we have to adhere to the internal standards that we create, i.e., back to your point, Andy, as far as cleanliness of trucks. We take it upon ourselves to relish the fact that we do provide not only a clean product for our environment to see how we are driving down the road as we take pride in the England name, but moreover to ensure that that perception is transcended down to the cleanliness of the truck. So with that, the industry standards that we have internally are a direct derivative of exactly the industry standards that have been outlined without the industry.
Wonderful. You know, a lot of the food safety managers that listen to this program are concerned from the gathering of the products into their food production facility, the processes that they engage in, and then the quality control as that product leaves their facility. Many times, the products that they produce are then placed into transportation vehicles, which are not their own, they're third party. Those standards and their responsibility is to examine those trucks. What are any standards that your drivers adhere to when their vehicles are being examined by these food safety officers?
You know, that's a great question, and the food safety individuals as well as plant managers should be concerned about the array of different type of vehicles and trucks that are coming into their plants each day. Again, I point back to my first point as how before we even move a particular piece of commodity for a customer or potential customer, we do an intense examination through not only their warehouse, but how the product is, wrapped or palletized, how the product is going to be moved, who's going to be touching it, how many people are going to be touching it, how much equipment's going to be touching the product, even before it enters our truck. We can assure from our end, based on the KPIs that we have internally, that the truck that they are receiving, whether it be asset or our logistics piece, will be clean and acceptable food grade quality. But beyond that, we have to ensure and have an education through not only our drivers communicating with the on-site plant, but moreover, making sure those particular qualifications are outlined far prior before product ever hits truck. And again, that's an intense examination that myself provides, as well as account managers and operational officials that we have within the organization that deal directly with our customers and potential customers to ensure such quality control of the actual truck.
Very good, Joe. Your explanations are right on point. There is one concern that you've raised, and that is refrigerated vehicles. As you know, a lot of microbial contaminants thrive in warmer temperatures. This requires that the food be transported in containers that maintain a temperature that is cool, usually 38 to 41 degrees Fahrenheit. Can you discuss with us the precautions your organization takes to maintain that temperature for food products?
Absolutely, and at the risk of being redundant, it goes back to the initial analyzation in having very concrete discussions with the customer or potential customer. As we all know, if transports are being from coast to coast or different regional geographic areas that have volatility in temperature, road conditions, whatever the situation be, we have that already outlined before product hits truck to ensure, A, we know exactly what temperature it needs to be addressed at, and in the event that it moves from coast to coast in different changing environments, that product is not sacrificed because of that. Again, going back to the initial analyzation with the customer, understanding the product, understanding the organization, understanding geographic lane assignments, understanding where we will be at origin as well as destination, who will be receiving, who will be affording, who will be loading, all those come into component, as well as, to your point, Andy, the temperature of the product in transport that is discussed within the initial discussion to ensure compliance.
Very good, Joe. In my limited understanding of the placement of product in pallets inside of a vehicle trailer, it's my understanding that there has to be a flow inside of the trailer to allow circulation for coolant. If there's not that placement inside of the trailer, then the product closest to the refrigerant will be frozen, and the one in the middle will be partially frozen, and the one farthest away, probably near the door, will be spoiled because there isn't flow. Are there any guarantees in your protocols to assure that there is this refrigerant flow inside of the trailers?
Guarantees would be ones whereby the driver that is transporting the commodity is ensuring that the refrigerated unit is acting in accordance with the temperature that is required by the customer. And that is checked at our level periodically, I would, depending on geographic change and climate, at least every 2 hours. One, at least by the driver, or here in-house, how we can check the refrigerated unit from afar to ensure we do not have any misguided transference of temperature, allowing the back end of the truck to not receive the full amount of temperature requirement by the customer. So again, checking the refrigerated unit on a constant basis, both at origin, both during transit, and both also at the time of delivery.
Outstanding. Joe, we know you have a large experience base. You have a large number of vehicles on the road at all times. Can you tell us about the future goals and technologies of the trucking industry in general as related to food?
I would be hopeful that, if not all, most organizations that transport refrigerated products will take upon themselves to be compliant in understanding the dynamics of the customers that they're dealing with, understand the dynamics of the commodities they are dealing with, understand the dynamics that weather does play a tremendous part in the transport of product, as well as geographic lane assignments and locations, and really have a thorough understanding of that particular client, other than just transporting from A to B. I know in the transportation business that's easy to do, that we're just moving product, but when it deals directly with food-related products, we have to ensure from soup to nuts that there is a thorough analyzation of the product, the company, who's going to be handling, why it's going to be handled, and most importantly, us as the transporter, making sure that our drivers are well educated in understanding the transport of product and the hazards that can cause in the event that we do not adhere to external and internal KPIs, as well as clean trucks and the cleanliness of their trucks. So again, at the risk of sounding redundant, I think the future goals and technologies involved are the past goals and technologies that we just need to be more aware.
Very good. Are there GPS units on a lot of these trucks letting the client know where the product is in the system?
Yes, there is. We feel that is an open book policy as we adhere to ensure that not only we know where our trucks are, but just as important that the customer has a good flavor and comfortability of where our trucks are.
That's amazing. So a client can look on a computer screen and see where their product is while they're being shipped with your organization?
That is correct. On the asset side of the business, on my logistics piece, we have a select amount of our core carriers that will allow that same visibility as well.
Amazing. Well, Joe, if you could let us know, what are your company's offerings and services, particularly as they're designed around our audience of food safety officers?
The England Companies is a $1.6 billion organization, fourth family, generation owned, privately held. CR England is the largest refrigerated carrier in the country with 4,700 trucks and 6,500 trailers on the road today, formed back in almost 100 years ago. England Logistics is a wholly owned subsidiary of CR England, formed back in 1994. Within the logistics environment, we are the 10th largest third-party logistics company in the country. We provide very robust service sets from full truckload, LTL, supply chain engineering, parcel, flatbed, container, warehousing, as well as international products, whereby we have 7 offices over in China providing our services from a logistics avenue, as well as looking to open areas in South Vietnam and the Pacific Rim. So we have a very robust service set on the logistics piece, whereby we have the ability to complement our asset side when we are looking to our current customer base as well as future customers, and really providing a true transportation management solution, whereby going into an organization and outlining not necessarily what they need, but tell us what you want. Complementing our asset side, we've got 7 other service sets that we can integrate within their portfolio to in hopes enhance their overall transportation experience.
Very good, Joe. You've given us an excellent summary of, I consider, the premier food transportation provider. What if a food producer can't afford the premier alternative? What are their best options in the event they can't afford to use the absolute best in the industry?
I would ask that particular individual, if affordability is obviously a concern in today's economic volatility, price is always a concern. I would ask from a food safety perspective, can you not afford not to look to a premier provider to transport those particular goods, and the possible negligence and claims and issues that may arise in the event the product becomes tainted. There are a plethora of different avenues that can be approached from a price point perspective that allows all individuals to look towards a premier provider like ourselves. Price point is obviously a concern, and we have an array of different areas and geographic lane assignments and pooling of trailers and backhauls and things of that nature that allow an individual to take advantage of our services without sacrificing serviceability and without sacrificing capacity.
Excellent answer, Joe. And I think it brings to the fore that there are providers which are highly concerned with food safety and protecting the product. And a lot of these food producers have spent months cultivating, growing, producing, packaging, and then finally hand it over to a third party that doesn't have the same level of care and concern that ultimately the consumer will place into their bodies. So it's really comforting to know that there are companies out there that take this responsibility extremely seriously.
Well, and we do. Again, as I alluded to earlier, we are only as good as our carrier network on the logistics side, and we are only as good as our asset and the people that are facilitating that process, and the ultimate being the end user, which obviously allows them to have no fear or hesitation that the product that they are receiving is of quality, has not been tainted, and the essential KPIs have been adhered to from origin to destination and everything in between.
Joe, thank you for your time. I know you're a busy man. I'd like to allow you a few minutes to just summarize what our conversation has been and to let our audience know, again, about the premier quality of your services.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Joe. Have a great day.
Thank you.